Lily comes into view soon after the bells heralding the end of the school day ring out. She says farewell to a number of her classmates headed in the other direction before beginning her weekly trip to the convenience store. Afternoon, Lily. With the immediate warm smile and relaxed demeanor she assumes upon noticing my presence, is unexpectedly welcome.
Hello, Hisao. Good afternoon to you too.
She hesitates for a second, but eventually deigns to tilt her face forward and close her eyes. My lips meet hers with a measure of a light trepidation before we move off, hand in hand. The fact that we're so close in height is somewhat useful at times, there being no need for either of us to turn our heads upward nor downwards in order to meet the others. It doesn't take much time to leave the noise of the other students far behind us. The tapping of Lily's cane in her free hand is the only sound to be heard. Silence, blissful silence, is all that greets us while we slowly walk into the setting sun's light. Oh my goodness. I think I'm coming to really like this town. The huge green hilly expanse, the trees everywhere, the somewhat rustic little buildings.
So you've come to appreciate the tranquility of it as well?
I think so. I come from the metropolitan city near Tokyo, so the quiet of this town really alienated me when I first arrived. After a while it became really nice though. I think I prefer it to the hustle and bustle of my home city town.
While I preferred the quiet of such a rural town even when I first arrived, I suppose I had the advantage of growing up in a quiet area before I came. Hanako said the surroundings are very pretty too.
Lily may say such a thing quite easily, but each time she mentions how others describe sights around her as beautiful or pretty, I feel a little put off. I notice her expression becoming one of anticipation for some question or another. She always had a good sense of when somebody's not saying something that's on their mind, so I may as well speak up. I was kind of wondering, how do I put this? Do you ever regret that you can't see what things look like for yourself? It's just something I've been thinking about. She thinks carefully for a time.
Do you ever regret that you can't hear people whispering on the other side of a room? I can only speak for myself, but the fact that I can't see is the only way I've experienced life. Just as I cannot do something you can't do something that I'm capable of. The fact that the world is made for those who are sighted can be a pain sometimes, but there are many, many people who suffer much more than I because of the way the world is.
That does make sense, but still, it feels kind of bad to describe something that you can't experience, that you can't experience to you. She tilts her head quizzically, as if I just said something that makes very little sense at all.
But I can experience it. You just said yourself that you like this area because of the way the surroundings are. I like this area for the very same reason. Thanks to the fact that this is a small rustic town surrounded by trees, it gives some peace and quiet away from the din at school and the bustle, not to mention the smells of the city.
I suppose it would also be much like the home she shared with Akira as well. Her outlook on it seems pretty sensible, and I'm not surprised that she's got a much better handle on her particular condition than I do on mine. Just like how our coming from a location somewhat similar to Yamaku's surroundings let her become more acclimatized in a shorter time. Being born blind affected her stance, by her own admission. I should stop being so annoyed with myself over it, but I can't shake the feeling that I've depended on Lily far too much, given the circumstances most have had to deal with in Yamaku. That makes a lot of sense. You're pretty good at explaining, as always. Come to think of it, where's Hanako anyway? She was with us for lunch.
It seems she's busy studying. The exams are far from over, and she said she wants to do better this year than the last.
While I admire her work ethic, she's really been trying to give us a lot of room alone recently.
She's that type of person, I think. The kind that puts others' needs above her own at every chance. She's a sweet girl, even though so much has hurt her in the past. I don't know. I feel like it's only now, when she's less close to me than ever, that she's truly finding herself. It was thanks to you that she began to become more confident, after all, not me.
I take my hand from hers and gently place it on her head. The important thing is that you were there for her. I can't imagine what she'd be like without having found someone like you. That much became obvious while you were in Scotland. We're all still friends, so we've just got to have faith in her. I think she'll become a good person, and that much is thanks to you being there for her when she most needed it, just as you are there for me.
It makes me feel a bit childish when you sound so wise.
Well, I try. Are you doing anything this weekend by any chance?
Nothing comes to mind. Why?
Then how about a date on Sunday? It'd be something to do besides exam preparation. Countering my rapidly beating heart, she simply smiles and nods.
That would be lovely.
Where would you like to go? To the Shanghai! I mean, that's not the only dating place here. Her face suddenly changes to one of disapproval.
You can't do that, Hisao. That's cheating.
Do what?
A gentleman should never ask a lady where to have a date.
Oh. Her smile quickly comes back, assuring me that she's far from serious.
Don't worry about it. I'll think about where we should go.
I'll leave it to you then. I promise to decide on the next date, though. With our plans for the weekend made, the rest of the walk down the hill continues in silence. The prospect of that lasting for any length of time, however, is shattered as I clutch the sight of a familiar figure waiting for us, her hand held high.
Yo! Thank you! Please come again!
I love that store woman. She's fantastic. The change of temperature as I step outside from the convenience store sends this chill up my spine. It feels like summer's starting to wind down. Looking to my side, the same feeling seems to affect Lily as well, though unlike me, she doesn't manage to hide the fact. Something I didn't realize at first was how physically delicate she is, even compared to the likes of Hanako. If I had to describe her, I'd have to say that she reminds me of a China doll. Akira walks up behind her and gives her a couple of hard pats on the shoulder, much to Lily's consternation. For a moment, she looks as envious of my statue as an only child as I am of their close relationship. They talk between themselves for a few moments as I sort out my bags, their voices too low for me to catch, but eventually they break off and we begin to walk back to the school.
It feels good to be out of that damned office. You kids don't know how good you have it here. Kids. You too, then. Kids grow up so fast nowadays. You're not old enough to say that. I don't know, being around Hideaki makes me feel damned old. He's so precocious, he reminds me of you when you were younger. He's a nice boy. It would be a shame if Shizune comes to have too much of an influence on him.
Akira gives an amused snort at her sister's antipathy. She really doesn't seem to regard it as anything to make a serious fuss about, treating it more like a childhood spat. She looks over to me, apparently only just remembering that I'm here, and gives a small grin as she reaches toward her back pocket. What is it?
Just a sec, let me dig it out.
After quite some difficulty, she manages to retrieve her black leather wallet from her back pocket, quickly fishing out what looks to be a folded square of paper. With Lily all but unaware of what's happening, Akira unfolds the scrap and hands it to me. An old photo of what looks to be a younger Lily and Shizune operating a noodle stall with some other girls in the background. She looks vaguely familiar, but I can't quite pinpoint why.
Is that Hanako?
Brown hair.
Oh, okay. What is it, Akira? I think you know.
Lily mulls this over for a few moments before a realization dawns on her.
Akira, you really needn't. It's fine, isn't it? Besides, it's the only photo I have of you two since you entered Yamaku where you're not at each other's throats.
I look back down to the photo in my hand. It does seem strange to see Lily and Chisune working together so diligently without any sign of animosity. If the photos of them during Yamaku's festival, that means it must have been taken 1 or 2 years ago. In other words, the time when they were both on the student council together. Who's the girl in the back? She looks kind of familiar.
Ah, I knew you wouldn't recognize her. It's Misha before she went and dyed her hair pink.
No way!
She's not a natural cotton candy head.
Is it bad that I find Misha like 10 times more attractive like this?
No, she's a babe. Damn. I hope there's like a bonus level. It's like date the brunette Misha.
When you said bonus level, all I hear is the Mario.
Yeah. Bonus level.
Oh,
Speed dating
man.
Misha. Ah, she looks really good.
That's Misha? No way! It feels extremely strange to see Misha without her so very distinctive hairstyle, and it's not like in that tight curls, like the Catherine curls, at all. Oh man. Judging from Akira's tone, she doesn't take favorably to Misha's idea of fashion. I suppose the fact just accentuates how odd the situation looks, to think they were so friendly in the past. I wish I could do something to mend the relationship.
You're being very quiet, Hisao.
It just feels kinda strange to see you all so friendly like this. Lily moves to say something but stops herself. In the end, it isn't a matter for me. It's between Shizune and Lily, and nobody else.
Things changed, unfortunately.
I hand the photo back to Akira, who sighs as she folds it up and slides it back into her wallet. A little memory quietly hidden away, to be pulled out again some time later.
Yeah, that they do.
Initially, I think Akira's reaction to be simply in response to the situation between Lily and Chizune, but she looks oddly glum compared to what I'd expect. Lily's expression is clouded as well. What's wrong?
It's just I'll be going to Scotland very soon.
You're leaving for Scotland again? For a long moment, Akira looked surprised. It's an ill-fitting expression for her. After a glance at Lily, she turns back to me as if she'd never done so.
Yeah, in a couple of weeks I'll be leaving for Inverness to work at the company's headquarters. It's a pretty big jump in corporate position, and it's not a chance it's going to come again.
So Akira's going to leave Japan on what seems to be a permanent basis. I can't help feeling that my assumption that we could all happily while away our days having fun in this isolated little world is coming to an end. It's unsettling. I look at Lily, mildly surprised that she hadn't told me such a thing despite usually being so forthcoming. She continues to walk with her face fixedly pointed ahead. I can't read her expression, nor can I even guess what's on her mind. Which is discomforting given how it's usually easy for me to do so, or do both. It reminds me of the time when we met at the Shanghai, just before that would be called our first date. At the time, all I could do was comfort her without knowing the cause, and now feels no different. As we finally reach the school's dormitories once again, there's a somewhat awkward silence. I don't think I'm the only one who feels it. See you tomorrow then, Lily. Bye, Akira.
Good night, Hisao. See ya.
And with that, they walk to the female dormitories. Opening the door to the male ones, I stop and look back to them just moments before their figures disappear behind the heavy wooden door. That was a strange moment when Akira said she was leaving. While that wasn't the first time when my thoughts regarding my new life have been called into question, it's perhaps the first time to do it quite so profoundly. I still don't know what to make of Akira's reaction, much less of Lily's. The night's chill reminds me to get back to my room before I catch something. my bags pulling down on my arms with seemingly redoubled weight. If nothing else, I have a date with her to set up for the weekend. I just need to stop overthinking stuff and get on with things as they are. The exams are still ongoing, after all, and with the trimester end and the summer holidays beginning soon, there will be plenty to keep me busy for a while. As I give a yawn and retreat inside, my thoughts turn to what Lily will decide to set as the location of our weekend rendezvous. I feel like the plot twist is about to kick in. Oh!
That's nice.
Can I afford this?
I don't know, you're about to find out.
Oh shit. I'm pretty sure that this is the last thing I had in mind when Lily said she'd decide where to have our date. No man nor woman is dressed in anything but their finest, their formality only matched by that of their surroundings. Rich red wallpaper adorns the wall as the city lights far below flicker and glow. Combined with the ambient hum of quiet speech and the high-pitched clattering of cutlery and wine glasses, the mood is very formal, yet relaxed enough for me not to feel too uptight despite this being our first real date. Once we get seated, our waiter leaves to attend to others with a quick bow, after an appreciative nod from Lily. Far from depending on my help, Lily manages to navigate herself around surprisingly easily so far, despite the unfamiliar environment. A light brush here and there, and she generally quite adept at orientating herself as needed. Orienting. Yeah.
Ooh.
Is that like the Chinese?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She looks really nice.
Oh my god. Lily with the outfits, man. Like,
Yeah.
she's.
And them angles.
Oh.
She's got some good angles.
I'm totally using that anyway. Girl, you got some good angles. Don't you
Let me
mean?
just turn a little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
That one right there. Oh.
I dare you to use that at the bar on Friday.
Oh.
Hey girl, let me see your 45-degree angle. You're like,
Whip
ew,
out
go away.
Whip out a protractor. Ah, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Let me measure it out for you, girl.
Oh, my eyes look to Lily's. I can tell from her face that she's listening to her surroundings just as hard as I'm looking. Though, truth be told, my eyes are lingering on her each time they sweep across the room. Oh my god, I can't do it. The red... something. We're going for it. Cheongsam.
Yeah.
The red cheongsam she's
You
wearing accentuates her figure very well and shows off her legs. Even her hair is done up. The scent of perfume is just noticeable. I swear to god, if he's in his school uniform, I'm out. I'm out.
Like, it's the only colored shirt I have.
Oh! Wow, my black suit may be a
Hey.
rental. I managed to select an appropriate one. It feels surprisingly comfortable considering I've so rarely worn one, and fits the setting just as well as Lily's attire. Better not be no clip-on tie. I guess this is a new experience for both of us then. Lily's like, no, I do this,
she
every other Thursday.
She goes to like pull his tie and it just like pops off. She's like, no! Why? I thought you were different.
It's like, I'm sorry, Hisao, I can't do this.
That's the bad ending. He's wears a clip-on tie.
Yeah, they're just about to have sex after their date, and she's like undressing him, and she's like, what is this? What is this?
We have to talk. It's over. Except he wears a tie like every day for school.
Oh.
Which is probably a clip-on. It's probably
Oh,
it's a school tie.
I swear to God. Oh, she turned somewhat sheepish.
I've never come to a place such as this before, no.
One hell of a first date, that's for sure. It's going to be pretty hard for me to top this. A small giggle. Even now, her nervousness is dissipating. Her hand skates along the center of the table until it touches the menu, which she takes in both hands and brings to her face.
Hisao?
As she lowers the beige laminated sheet just below her eyes, I can see another sheepish look. I doubt asking the waiter for a menu in Braille would be productive. I can read it out to you, no problem.
What's wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah, I take mine and give it a quick read, a small grin faltering.
Oh, I don't.
Perhaps there is...
What's wrong?
Sorry, I derped so hard. The lag is real.
There are quite a few items on here, and I'm not completely sure how to pronounce a couple of them. My boy! My boy! It's the French, I tell you. It's the French, and just fucking dumb. Fucking dumb. One fine cuisine after another is listed. Most may be in Japanese, but a few are in English and French. Told you. They get you. I guess it's to be expected, but I have no idea what's in some of these. Oh, this one I recognize. Wait, hang on. Cheeseburger, right?
Cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger. A pizza. You can cook that? A small giggle of amusement comes from behind the paper sheet. Well, I could read them out, but it'd take a few hours.
Is there anything with some kind of fish in it?
Let's see. No. Aren't those poisonous? No. They eat that? No. Oh, here we go. Tuna salad seems to be a good bet. From the picture, it looks like it'd be pretty filling as well.
That seems to be a reasonably safe option.
Let's order 2 then. I'm pretty sure a couple of these dishes are from poisonous animals. I've had enough deadly run-ins for now. Lily maintains a smile, but there's a distinct lack of laughter. Black humor mustn't be her cup of tea, though to be honest, I don't find it exceedingly funny either.
There are certainly quite a few interesting smells wafting about. The same is true of the sights, I assume.
I've never been anywhere quite like this. A fancy Japanese tea house on occasion or two, but never anything as Slavish nor European in styling. Before another word can be said, a portly waiter is in a distressingly tight vest appears at our table to take our orders.
Alright, game time, Hisao. The C's with the doodly underneath is an S.
Yeah,
It's
Provençal tuna salad niçoise. Niçoise.
Yeah.
Niçoise. Please. 2. I hope I didn't mess up the pronunciation of that too badly. Even if I did, he doesn't show it.
And may I have a glass of Chardonnay, please, Hisao?
Oh, I thought they're underage!
They are.
What is this?
But the waiter don't give a shit.
No, are you shooting at me? Oh, my lord. As the waiter nods and leaves, I suddenly realize what I said by absent-mindedly mimicking Lily's answer. I regret it pretty quickly. Alcohol?
A bit.
This girl has an odd propensity to get hooked on things, I swear. Surprising that they didn't ask for identification. Then again, I guess we both do look mature for our age.
I'll have to take your word for it. I'll add that this isn't what I'd call the type of place to ask such things, though.
Good point. We both relax a little into our seats, trying to take our minds off the choking formality of the surroundings. As soon as we do, the same waiter reappears at our table with 2 empty glasses and a bottle, the contents of which are quickly and professionally poured into the former. We both nod politely as he leaves, Lily taking her glass and gently moving it from side to side. The liquid inside glistens as it moves around in the glass, and I have to admit it, makes me a little less regretful for ordering the same. I guess it must take effort to judge how the liquid inside is acting based only on its center of balance. Maybe it's like her origami, taking every little chance to practice her dexterity. I guess I'm not surprised that you know about a place like this. Those who have money would, I suppose. This reminds me of just how completely different our upbringings were. In Yamaku, it's easy to forget about social and economic disparity between students all wearing the same uniforms, living in the same dormitories.
Well, Akira was the one to tell me of it. She's come here before, apparently.
So that's what they were conspiring about on Friday. And you chastised me for cheating.
It's not cheating, it's simply making use of personal contacts.
If you say so. Still, I get the feeling that you're more familiar with this kind of restaurant than I am. She pauses a moment, a wistful look on her face before softly smiling. The compliment seems to brighten her mood.
You can thank my former school for that. If I were to appear any less, they'd be gravely disappointed.
She has mentioned her previous schooling before, but now I'm kind of curious. She seems to think a lot about her past, so I don't see any problem in asking. What was it like?
It was prestigious, all girls and Catholic. These facts made my parents choose it for me. Many wealthy families sent their daughters there.
From how it sounds, life there must have been pretty strict.
I wouldn't say it was a bad experience, but you're quite right, it was very strict. Thankfully, I managed to adapt well enough to make a number of friends. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for my sister. She found the atmosphere and religious aspect suffocating and ended up leaving for a job as soon as she was able to.
She gives a small, self-depreciating chuckle.
I shouldn't complain about it, though. Not many even have the chance to go to such a school.
Do you resent your parents for sending you there, then leaving? She gently shakes her head.
My family is highly patriarchal. My father, business always on his mind, was entirely lost as to what to do with me. In the end, he made the decision that my education was of higher priority than staying with the family. He simply did what he thought was best.
To say such things so easily, what an unbelievable girl. That said, I'm a little surprised she doesn't think about her blindness, didn't think her blindness played any part at all, though maybe I'm being too harsh on her family. You're too kind-hearted, you know that? Most would hate their parents for something like that.
Well, some do.
Oblivious to my raised eyebrow, she takes a sip from her glass. The wine slips down effortlessly, her fondness for it evidently helping her deal with the flavor of alcohol. I can't say the same goes for me.
What of yourself? What was your schooling like?
God, he's such a little bitch. Mine? Let's see. It was a fairly normal public...
What?
He like... just asked what kind of school she went to before Yamaku, and it's like this all-girls prestigious school, and then he opens up the sentence to describe his school as normal. Really? No.
Girl, you're not normal.
Hey, you went to a weird school.
Yeah.
It was a fairly normal public school, I suppose. Maybe a bit busier than the norm. I did quite well in class and played in the soccer club. Since I am an only child and my parents both work a lot, I wasted most of my free time and money at the arcade with my 3 friends.
My 3 only friends ever.
And the girl who gave me a heart attack, you know, that too.
She was the 3rd friend.
No matter how much I played though, I never did manage to beat Mai at any of those machines. Even Takumi and Chin lost to her. Yeah, that's it! That's the- oh wait, no, it's...
Oh, no,
that's
different
a
name.
different girl.
Maybe he's just making them up.
Yeah. My 3 imaginary friends. Isha and Takumi and Shin lost to her whenever they tried. Then I'd be left trying to be the responsible adult when Shin and Mai fought again. Just the 4 of us, aimlessly enjoying our childhood. Those were some pretty silly times. I catch myself as I realize that I'm starting to zone out. The days of my old school disappearing to the night sky and bright city lights outside the window. Lily's face is an odd mixture of curiosity and sympathy. Given her strict schooling, I suppose something like this would seem an interesting contrast to the one life she's known.
It sounds like your previous school was a lot of fun.
I'm not really sure how much of it is nostalgia, but there are some nice memories. That's in the past, though. I can't go back there now. But through my accident, I found a new life I'd never managed leading. The peace and calm of Yamaku, a new direction for my future in science, the friendship of Shizune, Misha, and Hanako, and most of all, you. Hisao, you're looking good, man. You're looking good.
Since you pointed it out, like, he's an attractive dude. He's a good-looking dude.
He better be, you know, just saying.
Like, touching the butt, you gotta have something going for yourself there.
And
your
he's
butt's
smart.
Gotta be.
And he's smart too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that I guess
So
is pretty important.
Just saying.
But having a touchable butt.
If you want to touch butts, you have to have a butt to touch, you know? You know what I'm saying? Words of wisdom right there.
Yeah. Confucius say.
If you touch the butt, you must give a butt. A butt for a butt.
Can you put that in calligraphy? Like pretty calligraphy and just like make a screen for that?
A butt for a butt. She gives a deep, genuine smile as she moves her hands towards me, her fingers just slightly searching out my face before softly caressing my cheek. Her hand reluctantly retreats after a second of warm silence as we notice the waiter arriving with our meals. Lily does a deft job of covering her condition, except for the fact that her nod to him is slightly misaligned due to his silence. She really seems to work hard at appearing as normal as possible in public. While I noticed it long ago, I can't quite gauge whether it's a want to not be treated differently, a slight sense of vanity, or some mixture of both. The dish served lives up to the salad name, and the portions pleasantly large, with sliced eggs and tomato. It looked very enticing indeed. Lily takes her knife in one hand and a fork in the other, quickly getting to work on the dish as I do. It's later than when we usually have dinner, so we're both eager to dig in. My cautious skewering of leaves and vaguely meat-like squares with my fork is matched by Lily's silent and measured prodding and chewing. An occasional tap around the side of the pieces of food to work out its edges is the only giveaway to her lack of sight. I'm done with my meal in little time, Lily taking the last few bites as I sit observing her.
Finished, Hisao?
Yeah, it was pretty nice. That much is very true. I never thought a simple salad could be so tasty and filling, but then again, I suppose that's why it costs so much to eat here. Content with my appraisal and evidently agreeing, Lily gives a small nod. You know, given that you're part foreign, exotic looking, and quite pretty, I'm surprised that no one ever confessed to you before.
You're assuming nobody did.
I had a
Ignorant prick.
I had a line down the hall and around the corner.
Yeah, and then out the door. And through the pompous gate.
You just came
Even
in.
the gate was in the line.
You just came in after I finished with the lineup for that day. The simple statement takes me off guard. I shouldn't be surprised, given that I was complimenting her just moments before. Really?
I've received several confessions, both in this school and my previous one. It was an all-girls school!
Damn, Lily!
you know, I said slowly, but if one of your old classmates was
If you
still
want to
in,
like reconnect or something, you know what? I'd be down. Adolescence is a funny time. True dat, Lily. True dat.
she's kind of talking as if she's above it herself. Huh? How easily you say such a thing. Lily looked surprised for a moment before a playful smirk covers her face.
Is that jealousy?
What? No, it isn't.
You're a bad liar, Hisao. You should take that into account. Then again, I do appreciate how sincere you are, even if you don't intend to be sometimes. I think your honesty will always serve you well when dealing with others.
I clear my throat in mock disapproval of this whole business and try to steer the conversation elsewhere. To tell the truth, though, I do prefer solitude to being surrounded by others. I don't think I could maintain a social circle like you do. She contemplates this for a moment.
I don't think that's true either. I've seen how gentle and caring you are around Hanako, and you get on marvelously well with others, even those whom you hardly know. I think you're quite adept at social situations. But on that note, what of your confessions, Hisao? I'm sure someone like you must have had at least one admirer.
And
Yeah,
it
what?
almost killed me. As I open my mouth to speak, I can feel my face turn slightly dour. At times like these, I secretly appreciate the fact that she can't see my expression. Just one. Her name was Iwanako. It was when she confessed to me that I had my heart attack, there in the woods during winter. Lily finds herself speechless, not expecting for the topic to move into such an area. My condition has always been something of a concern for her, something that I strive to minimize despite my body's best efforts to the contrary. Afterwards, she visited me for a while when I was in the hospital. For weeks she came in and talked. It was usually just small talk or classroom gossip, but that was enough. But eventually, she just stopped coming. She was there every day, then every other day, then once a week. Then finally one day, she just stopped visiting entirely.
Did you ever see her again?
Wrapped in my own little world, I shake my head before remembering the futility of the gesture. Things can still go wrong.
Oh, damn it! Okay. She does not like when you keep things from her.
That's true.
Mention the letter because it served us well last time.
But you... Okay. Okay, I'm trusting you here.
Yep. Okay.
The memory of the single letter Iwanako sent me comes back to my mind. I never saw her again, but after I was sent to Yamaku, she wrote me one letter. Lily's face shows an expression I know well. I've piqued her interest. I'd be slightly offended that it's simply a matter of curiosity for her, but she's never been very good at masking her reactions. In hindsight, it really didn't say much. What was going on in my old class, how she was faring, and almost as an afterthought, that it was probably best for both of us that we don't see each other again. After reading it, I ended up reassessing a lot of things I thought I'd managed to work out. For the most part, that letter reminded me that the world around me was still moving, and just how much I'd become isolated from it. And I guess it also reminded me of what I'd lost. She gives the information some thought before her face lights up in realization. No doubt she's worked out that it was this letter which had contributed to my angst during that lunch on the rooftop. It's a rare sight to see Lily quite so lost for words. Her entire persona is little deflated from her earlier rap history. As charismatic as she is, in the end, that isn't any replacement for her life nor relationship experience.
Perhaps it is better she sent it than not.
How's that?
It can be difficult to work out how best to communicate with those you haven't met in a long time, All the more so considering your separate situations. Instead of doing what was easiest, she built up the courage to talk to you one last time, not only for her sake, but from how it sounds, for yours as well.
Maybe. I don't hate her for it. Not that I really ever did, but I don't know. Probably a more non-committal answer than I should give, but it isn't without cause. I've never looked at the situation from Iwanako's perspective like that before. Seconds pass in silence before Lily speaks again.
Moving to Yamaku must have been hard for you, having your friends and even your girlfriend taken from you for no fault of your own.
The worst of it passed while I was in the hospital. When all that surrounds you is 4 white walls and a small television, your mind takes on a life of its own. It's like my old school, I guess. I just try not to dwell on what's happened and keep thinking ahead. All that reminiscing does is get me down, and it's largely thanks to you that it feels like things are finally getting back on track.
That's pleasing to hear, Hisao.
She lowers her face slightly, her expression pensive. I guess I went too far and embarrassed her. I suppose you went through something a bit like that. A bit like what I did when you entered Yamaku anyway, right? I imagine the vast majority of our school students did, after all. You said yourself that you made friends in your old school. I can't imagine many followed you. Lily's deep smile drops, her expression unexpectedly darkening. Even her hands retreat to her lap. After a long while, she speaks.
Hisao, can you promise not to tell anyone else what I'm about to?
I promise. She looks slightly taken aback by my serious tone, but then relents and smiles weakly before continuing.
When I moved to Yamaku, I did regret losing the friends I'd had at my other school. But there was one person whom I most regretted not seeing again. He was the reason I took up English as a future career.
He? Considering she came from an all-girls school, that can't have been a schoolmate then.
I rejected the confessions I'd received until then for him. Every time I improved my English skills, his praise was my most treasured reward.
She fell in love with a teacher?
Hold up! Hear her out for a second. Okay, calm down. Hold up.
It's funny, isn't it? Someone like me able to boast about the people who have set eyes on me, liking someone so utterly attainable as my tutor. It truly is the most ridiculous thing.
Okay, he could have been like from another school, like a tutor. Like tutors can be young.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
He could have been old. He could have been like a university student.
That's 100% fine.
Yeah.
But the fuck? I'm a little jealous. I don't even give a fuck what Hisao. I'm a little bit jealous.
It's in the past though. In the past, she was single, ready to mingle. And there's this dude who compliments her when she's good at English and everything's great.
Okay. Well, did you... She quickly shakes her head from side to side.
I couldn't. Even then, I knew it was impossible.
The silence reigns over both of us. This does seem to explain her ardent focus on her future in teaching English, but I can't help thinking of her confession to me. She lost him without even letting her feelings be known. Did she somehow fear that would happen again, but with me? I don't really know what to make of it. I've heard of such relationships before, taboos born of such things as puberty and youth. The fact that she had the good judgment not to act on it, though, it's heartening.
I know this must sound strange, but please don't think of me.
Why would I think any less of you for that? To be honest, I think he must have been a very nice person for you if you liked him so much. Not only that, but you stopped yourself before going too far. So he must have been older. Like, older.
Like 40?
I love
Like, how old are we talking?
like probably like adult, like past university, when she was still, if you think about it, in middle school. Which
But
is
but
not
a tutor.
as-
She said tutor.
yeah.
I really wanted to be a university student.
It doesn't sound like a university student, that's all I'm saying.
Okay. Maybe we'll learn more details. Let's keep going.
Okay.
Maybe.
For a moment, she looked somewhat lost. Most unexpectedly, though, it isn't a second before she starts to laugh. The sound takes me off guard. It's not a giggle, nor a strained chuckle, but an honest and genuine laughter. I find myself smiling, and not just at her display of relief and happiness, but for her to trust me enough to let me see the most private of secrets. Before I realize it, I feel her palm touching my face. Her touch is gentle as ever, with her thumb slowly stroking my cheek.
You're kind, Hisao. I really do love you.
Seeing her face like this, with her palm gently caressing my face, I think tonight has been a wonderful night. I guess we've both had a pretty weird past, eh?
I think by most standards, our present is rather odd as well.
I smile and hang my head. This woman can easily run rings around me. Of that, I'm quite sure. I look back around the room with its continuing quiet hum of patrons. This place probably fits into that odd category too.
It is a tad overbearing.
That's one word for it, yes. I catch the eye of a stirring waiter, a short, scrawny guy no older than 20. He kind of reminds me of Kenji, though unlike him, the waiter isn't dressed for winter during midsummer. After a curt bow and an offer to remove our plates, Lily asks for the bill politely and softly. With expert coordination, he maneuvers around the table, our plates in hand, to retrieve our bill. In no time, he reappears to the doors, smartly handing our bill to Lily, who promptly hands it to me, causing him to raise an eyebrow. As I read the small computer print leaflet, the cost is considerably more than I expected.
Hisao?
Oh, I quickly stammer out the amount, to which Lily merely nods and reaches for her purse. Giving her card to the waiter, he disappears once again. That was a disproportionately large amount of money.
My... Nothing.
Thus,
Nothing. What? What? Why is it so funny? I'm tired and I want to do my lines.
the statement seems to make Lily slightly uncomfortable.
Okay, it's my turn now. Oh, lordy, lord.
My turn!
My family leaves me more than enough for my education. The same goes for my sister, though she dislikes being reminded of that fact. That said, I too dislike throwing money about. But this one time I think I can make an exception, just for you.
Not only did you choose our date, but you paid for both of us as well. I take the bridge of my nose in my fingers. I can't believe how high you have set the bar for our next date. She gives a small giggle.
I'll be looking forward to it, Hisao.
The waiter reappears behind us, as if by magic, and hands Lily's card back to her. Evidently picking up on her lack of sight, he places the card in her hand with an extra, perhaps unneeded, amount of firmness to make sure of her grip. Leaving, he excuses a measure of diplomacy by keeping a neutral face despite my own expression. Clapping my hands together, I stand up from my seat in order to bring an end to our night out. Shall we be off then, my lady?
Aw,
That was cute.
that's super cute.
Because I want to hold you close on my own feet, I start.